Okay. Let's take a look to the future now. Now, the Kelowna Official Community Plan deals with issues that are going to be emerging and evolving over the next 20 years. What do you think are the greatest challenges that Kelowna faces over this period? The greatest ones?
Well, the greatest ones would be the transportation network. I mean, there's already lots of concern about how people are going to get around in the community, and yet preserving the 43% of our land, which is in the agricultural land base, recognizing the significance and making sure that that gets protected, I think is really important. And in this official community plan, for the first time ever, there was a boundary drawn around the growth areas of the city in recognition that hands off for the agricultural areas, because that we need, you know, to preserve, we need to enhance and support, and I think our agriculture community needs support. So I think being sure that land is protected, and that density happens so that it's encouraged in the well, there's 5 town centers now in the new official community plan, and making sure that density is meaning, you know, more apartments and more high rises.
Do you foresee any, are you seeing any trends that are occurring nowadays that signal a danger arising in our city? And what do you think that we need to be guarding against as a people here in Kelowna?
Well, you know, one of the challenges, well, there's a couple actually. When you think much broader, as a valley, it's being sure that we recognize the significance of water. And within our own city, it's quite complicated because there are 5 utilities, and one being the city. So water preservation, meaning also in landscaping, you know, going more to xeriscaping, you know, etc. So water, I think, is a future commodity that we have to be very protective of and work together as a valley. So
how have we been doing so far with water?
You know what, we're doing better. I think, you know, like certainly with water metering has been a big help, and changing our landscape over time. I think we're getting better, but we still need to work more as a valley.
Do you see any trends that we need to be guarding against that are evolving in our character as a people, vis-a-vis gangs, drugs, alcohol?
Oh, that aspect, you know, absolutely we should be, you know, concerned about the impact of gangs in our community. They're there. Just before the election, I actually had gathered together some community leaders to talk about, let's put together a really good program that really says quite loudly that we are not open for gangs, meaning that we do everything possible, whether it's education for our young people in the schools or some programs that we have to work together, the diligence of the businesses to have, you know, the attire not allowed in their premises of the gang, colors, etc. And so, you know, I was just sort of starting to work on that. So we have to guard against that. Something a little, I guess, it's as important, but it's in a different vein, and that's our transportation. Again,
that's a big one, isn't it?
It is, and transit to me is a #1 way of improving how we you know, move people and goods in our city, but also the multi-purpose pathways. And if I think of anything in the last 3 years, we invested a lot of money in what I call connecting the dots. We've got all sorts of plans for bicycle networks, sidewalk networks, etc. But we finally have some beautiful little corridors that have started to come together. And if you go on a cycle route today, you can actually go around a lot of our community. So I think more of that, so we get people out of the cars, they feel safer.
So tell me, 20 years from now, what do you imagine Canadians will be saying about us?
Well, you know, what I would hope that they would be saying about us is that Kelowna is just a wonderful place to go to visit, or if they know someone that lives there, how lucky they are to be there.
Do you think that they might have some legitimate critiques about us, not only about our city, but also about us as a people? Will there be any legitimate critiques that they might level at us?
Well, you know, I think over time, our city is going to change as far as what we look like. And I think the university being here is going to bring immigration potential here. We are a fairly white community, and I think that over time that's going to change, and that's going to be a good thing. And it'll happen through our students. I know already university professors are coming from all over the world. They'll bring a different perspective, and I think we'll have to be more open than I think Kelowna has been known to be. And that's something that I think we're going to have to work on as citizens. And I hope in 20 years that people will say, oh, they're just a great people.
Do you plan to return to the mayoral office?
You know what, I've not made any plans past trying to get caught up in my life a little bit at this time. I'm actually being asked about other levels of government. I don't know where that might take me.
Provincial, federal? Provincial
and federal, both. It's hard because there's bits of each party that I like, you know, and I've not, and as a mayor and a councillor, I was very aware that I didn't kind of open up as to if I supported a particular party. I took that very privately because I felt that I had to represent the community, and everyone votes differently, have different party supporters. And that's what I think I really liked with the local government, was the lack of parties. I think this last election there were suggestions, well, maybe this is going to result in municipal government being more party orientated, which has happened down the coast. And I mean, maybe that might be a direction. I'm not sure that's
how do you feel about that?
Well, you know, again, it would be very different. It seems to work in some of the other communities, but it does change. I mean, I think that's why I was an independent, and I like being able to not have someone tell me how I should think or vote on a certain thing, and I think that's the only challenge with the party politics. So I have no idea future.
So tell me, how do you want to be remembered by the people of Kelowna 50 years from now? What are you hoping that they're going to say?
Well, they'll say, well, she was the first female mayor. You know?
Absolutely, yes.
And that was not at all the reason I ran, you know. So, well, I hope that I'll be, you know, again, is it on stuff that has happened during your term, or is it who you were as a person? And the feedback that I get from people is that I've been an open mayor and sort of very accepting, and that they loved how I represented our city. And so I hope that I get remembered to be someone that was a very special person, that did some physical things, but also brought sort of a nice ambiance to the community, and being open to people, and to differences, and trying to work really hard on particularly those that are in need. And you know, I have a great friendship I've developed with people with disabilities, and it's just because I strongly believe that they need advocates for cause. And you know, but I believe in youth. I mean, I believe in seniors. It's, you know, I'm an inclusive person, and
a socially conscious individual.
Very, you know.
And I hear that you get that from your grandma, from your mom, and reflecting on what that colleague from the neighborhood association told you, you can remember where you came from, and you brought all those to bear, not only on your mayoral experience, but also on any future experience that you're going to have. And I'd like to thank you very much for sitting for this interview. It was great getting to know you better, and I wish you well for your future.
Well, thank you very much.